What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another story time on my channel. For this video, I'm going to be going over my trip to Florida. So, a little backstory on why I went to Florida. In October of 2024, my parents got divorced, and in July of 2025, that's when my dad moved from where I live in Kentucky all the way down to Florida. It's somewhere close to Tampa. I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but it's decently close to Tampa. So yeah, that's pretty much all caught up. This was my first time going down there to go see my dad since he moved in. Because I started school in early August, so I didn't really have time, to go down there, and I've been busy. But it is currently my spring break, and it was currently my spring break whenever I actually did go there. So that is part of the reason I went down there. So, I think it was like a week before is when I got my plane ticket down there. Now, this was my first time flying alone, and it was a little bit scary, but I didn't really, mind it. It wasn't too horrible. I had straight through flights the entire way, so I didn't have a layover. None of that crazy bullshit. But pretty much, we just went around and, hung out the entire time while I was there. But when I was leaving for the airport to actually go down to Florida itself, my flight was at 11 in the morning, so I had to be up at like 8 o'clock to go there because of the TSA lines, which I thought they'd be way worse. It took me like 30 minutes to get through TSA. Um, so it was way better than I expected. So I was just sitting there. I was listening to music. I was scrolling TikTok for like the 2.5 hours that I was just sitting down there at the terminal. Now, where I live, I do have an international airport, like relatively close to me. It's still a little journeys away. I think it's like maybe an hour and a half from me. Is an international airport. So it's a decently big airport, but it's nothing too like massive. But yeah. So I went through that. I just had to sit in the terminal, all that stuff. But it wasn't too bad. I took my time, just sat there, and when I was boarding the flight, I was flying Southwest, so I was boarding group 3. Southwest has assigned seats now. They used to have just no assigned seatings, but I was boarding group 3, and I had a window seat in the very back of the frickin' plane. So it was a little AIDS, but it's okay. I sat next to this dad and his son. We chatted pretty much the whole way, besides when I fell asleep. So, I mean, they were nice. I enjoyed talking to them. Talked about career options, all that stuff, and, all that stuff. But, yeah, now to the actual Florida trip. I arrived on Easter Sunday, so, yeah, I was flying out on Easter. But I arrived Easter Sunday at around 1 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure what time it was. It may have been closer to noon, but I know it was, like, somewhere between noon and 1 o'clock. I can't remember exactly where it was. Um, but besides that fact, traveled the airport. I had to check my suitcase because it was too big to fit inside of the carry-on thing, which I didn't think about. But I had to get my bag checked, but I didn't have to pay for it, so that's nice because I was not gonna pay for that. But yeah, so I had to go to baggage claim where my dad was waiting. He drove the time for the airport, and we just headed down there, and we rode back to his house. It was decently fun over there. Um, Now at his house, there are 5 dogs in total. 3 of the dogs that he took with him that we owned, and his new girlfriend or stepmom, whatever the fuck she is. I actually don't know what she is. But she has 2 other dogs, and these dogs do not get along. So the 2 dogs that she had, they don't get along, so they have to stay in separate rooms. And the 3 dogs, they already attacked the 2 other dogs when they saw them, so the 3 have to stay in a different room. So 2 dogs are by themselves, and then the 3 dogs that we had before had to stay in a room by themselves. So it was a little iffy there, but besides that, nothing too bad. Um, Now my first day there, it was like, it was relatively chill. I was getting the lay of the land. I got to stay in the guest house that my dad has. It's like what he rents. Like he just rents it to his friend who he used to work with, who's now retired, and his wife, because it's like separate from the main house. But yeah, so actually, there's no way to get into there, so you have to go outside to actually get into it, which was unfortunate because it was raining 2 of the days that I was there. But yeah, so I stayed in a little guest room. It had, whole kitchen setup, whole bathroom, whole all that stuff. So I wasn't without, like, basic shit, and it was relatively good. I enjoyed it. Nothing that I can really complain about, but I enjoyed it. Now, the first day I was there, I can't remember exactly where we went, but it was mainly just me getting to know everything, and we hung out, so, I wasn't complaining. We went and got food, like, earlier in the day, so, like, this was, like, 4 p.m. And then, I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, and then, it was, like, this was, like, 10:30 at night, or whatever. I was hungry, and, I didn't really have anything, because I hadn't gone to the grocery store yet to pick up shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go walk and get pizza. Yes, I know. Me actually walking is kind of insane. But I walked the point 0.3 miles to this. It's like I don't know if it's local to Florida, but every time I go to Florida, like I've been to several parts of Florida, and they have it over here. But it's called Hungry Howie's. One of the greatest pizzas I ever have, and Hungry Howie's is amazing. So at 10:30 at night, I walked alongside this highway, and it wasn't really a highway. It was only like it was less than half a mile away from the house. So it was like just like a big road that I walked next to. I mean, it had like a sidewalk and everything, but I walked over there, I got pizza, and then I walked back. And the pizza, I have not had that pizza in a very, very long time, so I enjoyed it. It was surprisingly better than I thought it would be. So you know what? I wasn't gonna complain. I was like, okay, sure, that's all right. But yeah, so I put it in the fridge, went to bed. Next day, this would have been Monday. So Monday, I just hung out. We went to go look at. I don't think we went to the beach this day. I think that was the next day. But we literally just hung out. We went to go check out some different like stores. I did go to Publix and I got no, this was the Walmart grocery that I went to. I went to the Walmart grocery and I just picked up some things that I could use. Like I picked up a pack of Monster that I would be drinking. I picked up different, but just picked up a bunch of different things that I might need, and so I wouldn't have to fucking go walk to get pizza again in case I get hungry. But I saved that pizza for whatever. But went got snacks, all that stuff. And then we just went ahead and actually, this was when I met up with someone from. I actually met up with someone from ECPE. I'm not gonna say who, but he lived close to. Um, he lived close to where my dad was. So I was like, okay, you know what? Hey, you wanna pull up? So he drove the short distance over there, and we just had a fun time. We were trying to find a beach to go to, but there wasn't really a beach around there that I knew of because again, that was my first time. But so we just drove around and went to Walmart. I wore his Meta glasses, my first time wearing Meta glasses, and I still want to get a pair. So if anybody wants to donate the $400 to buy me Meta glasses, I'd greatly appreciate it. Why are they shooting up the World Trade Center? Anyway, um, but yeah. So just fucked around in Walmart, did all that shit, and then I got home around 9:30 at night, and I was still slumped because I was tired from the flight. So I just went to bed. So the next day, this would be Tuesday, I went to the beach, and I was at the beach for, I think it was like 6 hours. So it was like 5:30 when I got back to the house, and we went and we got food after that. So we went down to the restaurant. I'm pretty sure this is when we went to Chili's, and this was my first time at Chili's. Yes, I know, sue me, but this was my first time going to Chili's. So I mean, I wasn't too upset. You know, Chili, it was good. I have nothing to complain about at Chili's. It was good. First time at Chili's, not too horrible. After that, we went to uh, where did we go after this? I mean, we just went around, hung out. I was mainly just, took. Oh, we did take the dogs out for a little bit, just so they aren't cramped up in the house. But we did take them out. We hung out with them for a little bit, and it was relatively a good day. Not much to. Honestly, I didn't really do much on this trip, if I'm gonna be honest. It was a lot of just, me trying to figure out what there is to do. And there isn't much to do where this was, because, like, there's literally, like, nothing around there. It's like what this is, it's like, there's just a bunch of old people. Like, this is a bunch of fucking old people. But, yeah, so just hung out, all that stuff. And then later that night, I went ahead and I went for a jog. I jogged, I think I did 2 miles that day. I just went around, because, I enjoy running, and I didn't really have anything else to do. So at like 8:30 at night, I went for a jog, went like 2 miles, and then came back, and I just sat there and I watched Netflix. I hung out, and I was smoking a little once I got back, but it was mainly just watching movies and doing all that shit. But not much to complain about. So that was how it went. On Wednesday, um, Wednesday, the only really significant thing I did was I went to the bookstore, because I love books, and then, I mean, I don't know. I mainly just hung out, went to the bookstore, and then we went to go get. Where did we go? I think we went to Taco Bell, and we actually had Taco Bell 2 days in a row. Not the day before, the day after this on Thursday. But on Wednesday we had Taco Bell, and we were just hanging out, doing all that stuff. We went around, and I checked out some of the sites that were there. We were thinking about going to the aquarium, but we just didn't end up going to the aquarium because it was a little bit expensive, and I didn't really give a shit to go to the aquarium. But so we went there, and just hung out pretty much. I went to a park as well. I'm not sure what it was. There was a lot of birds and stuff there, and we tried to go see if there were any like alligators at this park or whatever. It was like a mini park slash beach or whatever, but we went in some like big like swamp area, see if we saw any gators or anything, but we didn't. My dad brought his camera, so he took pictures. I actually took a lot of pictures of the whole trip. But no, we didn't really see anything in there. So that's kind of unfortunate. Um, but that was mainly the whole day. We got back at like 7:30 at night, and then we just, chilled out. Me and my dad. I think I was helping him with something until like 8:30. So that was mainly where everything went. And then I just sat down and I went, watched a movie again, and I went to bed. Mainly I went to bed because me and my girlfriend were in an argument, so I was kind of a little bit bummed. We had somewhat made up when I went to sleep because I don't like leaving. I don't like going to sleep whenever we're in an argument. But so I went to sleep. We had pretty much made up, but the next day she was still a little bit mad. So this was Thursday now, and I was like, okay, you know. And then we apologized, and this day I went to the beach as well. So this was pretty much a whole day beach trip. I went at 11:30, and I got back around 6:30. I didn't really go in the ocean much. It was really fucking cold that day. I think it was like 70 degrees, 60 degrees, and that's really cold for Florida. But I went into the ocean a little bit. I didn't go much. I was mainly just tanning with the little sun that I had, and I was mainly just chilling there, hanging out, and just doing stuff on the beach. Not much I actually can not much I actually can do there. But yeah, so we got back pretty late at night. I mean, no, it was like mid. It was early night, so it's nothing too bad. But with all of that stuff, we went to go get Hungry Howie's again. Well, not them again. My first time was alone. But we went to go get it, and I'm pretty sure there's still pizza from Thursday sitting in the guest room fridge that I just never found about. But I went to bed decently early Thursday night. So after the beach, we got pizza. This time they got breadsticks. It was like the fucking it's called Howie bread or whatever. It's literally like, have you ever been to Little Caesars? It's pretty much like the Italian cheese bread that they have there. But got that, and I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. But I had to be up really freaking early that morning. I was supposed to be up at like 5:45. No, like 5:30, so I could be out the door at 6. But I woke up at like 6:15, 6:30. I can't remember exactly what time it was. So we're already 15 to 30 minutes late because we should have been out the house, and I didn't leave the house until like 6:45 or like almost near 7 o'clock. And my flight was scheduled to board at 8:50, and the drive to the airport's like almost an hour. So I got to the airport at like, uh, traffic was fucking horrible. I think I got to the airport at 8 o'clock, and I spent the first 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get there. And then I went to TSA, and luckily TSA only took 20 minutes. So I was there by 8:30, and my flight boarded like 20 minutes later. So thankfully I made my flight. That would have been really unfortunate if I didn't, because yeah, traffic was horrible. I woke up late. It was really bad. But my flight home, it was smooth, except I sat next to this annoying ass woman. Actually, in the airport, I talked to this guy. He is ex law enforcement, and because I want to have a career force and oh my god, a career path in law enforcement, and I didn't even realize he was law enforcement. I was just like, I asked him to borrow a charger for my AirPods because my AirPods had died, and I didn't bring my charger because I have a 17 Pro Max, so I use a USB-C, and my AirPods take the lightning cable. So I asked him if he had one. He had this really inventive charger. Actually, it was really nice, but I asked him to use it, and he was like, sure. We started talking. I was like, blah, blah. You know, this is what I want to do. We had a whole conversation, you know, up until the flight boarded. But, yeah, so, I mean, he was just genuinely a nice guy. He did all that stuff. So we just talked. We hung out, and then our flight boarded at 8:50. I sat next to this really annoying woman. Her legs were all in my space, and like, I'm pretty fucking big, so it was a really tight squeeze. I had a window seat again at the back of the plane, and but the flight that itself was smooth. I recorded the landing, and all that stuff. But something that I find funny whenever because I had to check my bag again, so whenever I was at baggage claim, to go get my thing, my bag went around like 4 or 5 different times because I didn't realize, because the front of the bag that I just took some random bag. It was like a reddish pink, but they had it faced on its back, so it was just all black, and I didn't know what it like if it was mine or not. So it just kept going around, and I didn't know. But I finally got my bag. I finally realized, oh shit, that's my bag. And as I turn around to leave, because my mom was there to pick me up at the airport, as I turn around to leave, I see some kid in a fucking Burger King hat. And he was on the same flight as me, but I didn't realize. And yeah, so if y'all know anything about Burger King hats and airplanes, you'll probably know why I was a little bit shocked. But yeah, that was pretty much my whole trip to Florida. Nothing really too exciting, just a lot of beach, a lot of having fun. But I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. It was a bit of a long story time, so I do apologize about that. Let me know what y'all want to hear about next time, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.